Greetings, my fellow citizens of the Communitarian National Socialist Republic of the Definitive Community. I am your president and Führer, Alejandro Valentino. This is the second part of my State of the Union address to the Communitarian National Socialist Republic. Now, take a look behind me for a second. I want to point out something to you. All those vehicles right there, I don't know if you can see them, but I'm going to try and get closer. Those vehicles right there are the Federal Protective Services, United States Department of Homeland Security, DHS. Those guys are responsible for the safety and well-being of the United States of America. Now, I want to talk to you and I want to address you about DSAP. This is the second video, or part 2, of the discussions about DSAP, Diesel State, or Diesel State Against Priuses, is what DSAP stands for. Now, the United States Department of Homeland Security is basically what you would call a national police force. DHS has been created after 9/11 because of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Now, it is Homeland Security's job, like I said earlier, to protect the interests and the citizens of this great nation, the United States of America. Now, I am an American, but I am also a communitarian. Now, with that being said, I have created an organization called the Definitive Community Department of Peacekeeping and Security Intelligence, which is basically a combination of Homeland Security mixed in with the United States Central Intelligence Agency. It's basically the PSI is basically my version of Homeland Security and the CIA. And what the PSI's job is to protect the citizens and the nation of the Communitarian National Socialist Republic. Now, right now, micronationalism, or not so much my country, but other countries or micronations, are facing a potential threat, and that threat is DSAP, Diesel State. Now, like I said in the first video, my first address to the nation, DSAP is a vehicular terrorist group, is what the Communitarian Republic, myself, that is what we call them. Now, I again want to elaborate on the fact that DSAP does not inflict harm on human beings. When I had my encounter with a DSAP insurgent shooting at a Toyota Prius, or two Toyota Priuses with a BB gun, when I approached him, he ran off. Why did he run off when he had a projectile weapon in his hand? Because DSAP believes, and the leader teaches, that they are not, it is against their creed and it is against their beliefs to inflict harm on humans and animals. Okay, so DSAP has some morals, but still, that doesn't excuse the fact that they assault and attack vehicles. Why are they attacking a vehicle? Based on the fact that it's a hybrid car, based on the fact that, I watched Al Gasolini's, one of his videos, and in his video he states that, I'm trying to remember what he said. I can't quote him word for word because I'm not I don't like the man and I don't like his agenda. But he did say that something along the lines of, you think you're saving the environment by driving a hybrid car, but your batteries are just as harmful to the environment as you think a non-hybrid car is, something to that effect. But basically, I think what he's trying to say is that if these batteries aren't properly disposed of, all the elements of the batteries can leak into the water and all that stuff, which is understandable. You know, I've done my research on that, but that does not give him and his group of, whatever you want to call them, the right to vandalize a vehicle based on that assumption or based on that fact or whatever you want to call it. So, as I stated in the first video earlier, the Communitarian Republic does not have Priuses within our borders. We put a ban on those cars because we don't want DSAP in our nation. But things could change. What if, and I pray that this doesn't happen, but who knows? Because we're talking about environmental terrorists or terrorists against the environment, anti-environmentalists, basically, if you will. They're anti-environmentalists. They go around basically driving loud trucks, vehicles that aren't hybrids, but whatever. That's not the point. My point is that they're anti-environmentalists, and they think that they hold a superiority above. They think that they are superior above people that drive Priuses. Now, if I lift Proposition 4, which is the Prius ban, within my country, the threat level of the Communitarian Republic will go up, will be elevated. Now, I personally kind of do want to lift the ban, but at the same time I don't, because if I lift the ban, like I said, DSAP, it will come to us, because we would be allowing people that own Priuses into, we would be allowing their cars into our nation. Now, I know it's unfair to the people that own Priuses, that if there are citizens within my nation that own Priuses, they aren't allowed to drive them past the border, and it is unfair to them. But Proposition 4 is enacted for their safety, their vehicle safety. Now, I want to point out the fact that we do have an administrative territory that we now ceded in with the Communitarian Republic. It was formerly known as the state of Mississippi, Massachusetts. And Governor Cletus Jackson enacted the Prius ban because he doesn't like the Prius, because he almost got hit by that car. He also banned the Toyota Yaris because he in fact did get hit by the Toyota Yaris. But he banned those vehicles for his own personal reasons. Now that Mississippi, Massachusetts is an administrative territory of the Communitarian Republic, the Prius ban is staying, not because of what he wants, but because of what I feel is safe and what I feel is right for the country as a whole. So, with that said, I issued a referendum calling, basically another vote, calling for whether the ban should be lifted or whether the ban should stay. Now, some people voted for the ban to be lifted, while others, which are the majority of the citizens of the Communitarian Republic, voted for the ban to stay. The majority won, so I cannot overrule that majority vote and veto their vote and lift the Prius ban. Now, I can take executive orders and overrule a number of things. I can actually take executive orders and overrule anything I want because I am the president of the Definitive Community Enterprises LLC, which is the corporate government of the Communitarian Republic. But I will not exercise executive orders unless it is deemed necessary. I am not a dictator. I am not an absolute monarchy. I am not a totalitarian regime. I am not that person. My government does have a system of checks and balances. Now, what I will say is this. If I do initiate executive orders, it will be a state of an emergency. This is not necessarily a state of emergency on a heightened level, but it is something that needs to be looked at, and it's something that needs to be taken into consideration, and it is something that needs to be fought. Now, the leader of Del Vera pointed out to me that the police should be the ones to deal with DSAP. Well, DSAP has been active for, I don't know, maybe some years now. I haven't heard or seen anything in the news. I haven't seen or heard any police reports of any DSAP member getting arrested or exposed. Now, these guys are pretty clever. They cover themselves, they cover their whole heads, including their eyes and faces, with sheets or towels or shirts or whatever they use to cover their faces. Because in this day and age, everywhere you go, there's a camera right there. There's cameras on the street lights. There's traffic cameras. There's cameras in the police vehicles. There's cameras on this building right here. There's cameras everywhere. That camera right now is recording me as we speak, as I am making this speech, this address to the nation. This is 2016. Everything you do, every move you make is on camera. Now, DSAP knows this, so they cover their faces and they block their identity because they don't want to get caught. And it makes it harder for the police department to identify these criminals and their acts of vandalism. Now I'm assuming since they cover their faces that they wear gloves, because fingerprints, when you touch a vehicle or when you touch anything, your fingerprints rub off on it. So if they're smart enough to cover their faces, then obviously they must be smart enough to cover their hands. So I'm assuming they cover their hands. So I'm not sure if the police department knows of this group, but if not, they should know now, or when this video goes viral, they will know. And the Communitarian National Socialist Republic will assist Homeland Security, local, state, county, and federal police in the search and hunt for Diesel State. These people must be put to a stop. They must be put to an end. And from a micronational standpoint, as a micronational leader of the Communitarian Republic, I'm not going to sit around and wait for the police department because they're busy with other things. I have my own police department. It's called the Staatssicherheit, which is German for state security, shortened to SS. I have those guys and girls. They're the Communitarian Republic's finest. They are trained to deal with specific things. I have the Communitarian National Socialist Military, or the Definitive Community Department of Corporate Defense, or Department of Defense, which is the military, my military. I am the commander-in-chief. I give an order, they execute that order. Simple as that. I say keep a lookout for DSAP, they keep a lookout for DSAP. I also control the intelligence agency. I tell them gather intel on DSAP, they gather intel on DSAP. I'm the president and Führer. They do what I tell them to. Now I'm fair. Like I said, I'm not a dictator, I'm not a totalitarian. Or totalitarian, however you say it. But you understand where I'm coming from, you know what I mean. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not harsh. I'm not a communist. I don't this is what you do, this is what you're gonna do. This is, if you don't do it, you'll get locked up or I'll kill you. I'm not that guy. If you don't follow orders, yes, there are consequences for those who disobey a direct order. But I'm not gonna kill you for it. That's absurd. That's far-fetched. I mean, come on now, let's be realistic. We're micronations. We're not macro nations. If I do something brash like that, I get arrested by the United States police because the Communitarian Republic is within U.S. borders. Sure, I'm a secessionist nation, but let's be real here. There's only very much we can do. Now, with that being said, DSAP is not a threat to the human being. They're a threat to the car, but they are a threat to the Communitarian Republic and other nations because they are attacking vehicles that the communitarian government won't allow in because these people want to attack these vehicles. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't have the manpower to go after these guys by myself. I don't have the strength in numbers to go after DSAP by myself. I don't have the amount of Reichsvalos, which is my nation's currency, money, to go after these guys by myself. I just don't have it. The Communitarian Republic has been active, has been around for almost a year. It'll be a year in this coming April, on April 23rd. We're a young nation. We haven't been around for as long as other micronations such as Molossia, the Principality of Sealand, Australasia, McCarthyia. We are not as old as they are. Their militaries are bigger than ours. I noticed this and I acknowledge that. Right now, the Communitarian Republic is expanding its land. Our citizenship is rising. We just acquired 4 new provinces and administrative territories. 4 of them. So, with that being said, we need to grow. We need a bigger military. We need a bigger police force. And now we have DSAP to worry about. But I am not a pessimistic person. I am an optimistic person. I am a firm believer in God and Jesus Christ. He is my Lord and Savior. And I am a believer of this saying, where there is a will, there is a way. Jesus turned wine or water into wine. Jesus broke pieces of bread from a very limited amount of bread, but somehow fed thousands of people off that one loaf of bread. Thousands of fish he caught and fed his people. It's called a miracle. Where there is a will, there is a way. I'm not going to use the excuse, oh, my military is too strong, or my military is too short. We're outnumbered, we're outgunned, and this and that. That's why I have allies. That's why I've established relations with other micronations. Because with the communitarian allies, when we all band together, My military plus their militaries form one huge military, and we will use our militaries to go after DSAP and shut them down. That is how this works. Oh, the glorious wonders of politics and running nations, diplomacy, and what have you. So that is what we will do, and that is what will happen. So rest assured, my fellow communitarian citizens, you have nothing to worry about, because your president and Führer, I, Alejandro Valentino, will sit down with these other micronations who have decided that action must be taken against DSAP. Because I agree, action has to be taken against Diesel State. I mean, what if they start attacking other vehicles? They're anti-environmental terrorists. So there's electric bicycles, go-karts, golf carts, electric vehicles that aren't Priuses within my borders. What if DSAP decides to say, oh, well, forget just attacking the Prius, we're going to attack, if it's a hybrid or an electric car, we're going to go after it. You know how many hybrid vehicles there are? You know how many electric vehicles? The Chevy Volt, you have flex fuel vehicles, you have hybrid electric buses, you have golf cars, you have electric powered ATVs, you have those easy-go, what are they called? Those, they look like golf cars, but they're not. They look like kind of like eggs, like, I don't know, but you have those things. I forgot what they're called. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about, but if you don't, it's not even that important. But my point is, it's an electric vehicle, zero emissions vehicle. You have electric bicycles. These people start going after vehicles like that, which are in my borders. I'm worried about that. And action must be taken against DSAP because of this. Now, I'm sitting down with these other micronational leaders, devising of plans to come up with to combat DSAP. DSAP is a group that targets vehicles only, Priuses for now. They will not attack humans. And that's another thing. And the reason why I'm making this second installment of this video, second part 2 of the national address, is that DSAP does not believe in live ammo firearms. They just don't. Now, I am all about gun rights. I exercise my Second Amendment rights to the fullest. Not only do I carry CO2 guns or use CO2 guns, but I carry live ammunition weapons too. I do. I carry a pistol. I'm a security officer, and even when I'm off duty, I still carry a pistol. So these Diesel State, they will not touch. I guess it's kind of like how Muslims will not eat pork. They believe it's a dirty animal. Well, DSAP believes that firearms are dirty technology. They will not touch them. They believe that inflicting harm on a human being is against their nature unless they are being attacked. And if they are being attacked, they try to run away. So when I say let's stand up against DSAP, I mean, we can shoot them with Nerf guns. They will probably run. We probably won't even have to resort to using CO2 powered weapons because they will probably run. If I go like this with my fingers, they will probably run. That is how scared they are, I guess, in a way, if that's how you want to put it. So I think that this fight against DSAP, it won't be very easy, but it will be doable. It is not impossible. It will be possible. All we got to do is just drive them out, drive them away, and keep them away from us. And then maybe someday I will lift the Prius ban. And actually, if DSAP is defeated, fully defeated, to the point where their leader is taken out or jailed or whatever, and they're broken up, I will take executive orders, initiate executive orders, and dismantle the Prius ban. But like Sam said, the leader of the Norris, if I am saying that right, which is a micronation, he said that, and this is true because it's the same theory applies to the cartels down in South America, Mexico. He said that if you take one DSAP insurgent out, two more will reappear and replace that former insurgent. That is true to an extent. So we have to find Al Gasolini and we have to deal with him because he is the head of Diesel State. He is the shot caller, the leader. I visited his Facebook page. I saw his title. He calls himself the supreme leader or what have you of Diesel State. So basically what he says goes. If he is taken out of the equation, Diesel State is left leaderless. They are basically left running around like chickens with their heads cut off, not knowing what to do. So basically there would be a rogue, leaderless faction going around attacking Priuses. Maybe they won't initiate as much attacks because they won't have a leader to tell them, okay, they won't have a leader to rally them up and organize them and tell them, okay, today we're going to do this, tomorrow we're going to do that, we're going to hit this location, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. That is what makes an organization, keyword, organized. If you take the leader of this organization out, they will not be organized anymore. They will be just another gang. Look, Prius taxi. But these guys must be stopped. I can't stress that enough. And every time I don't follow DSAP. I don't follow them on Facebook. Why? Because I don't see the need to. I can just go on Facebook and I can click on their page and I can see, and I can see without following them if they've uploaded something new. It's social media. You don't need to follow somebody to know when they've uploaded something new. But I do check on them from time to time, and then when I'm not busy, my intelligence agency checks on them as well. Now they are following DSAP because, well, it's their job. They are an intelligence agency. They follow potential threats. It's their job. That's what they do. And me personally, I don't have time to subscribe and follow every single little thing that's going on social media. I have a lot of things to do with the Communitarian Republic. I have a lot of things to do with my work outside of the CR. I have a lot of things to deal with in my personal life. There's only but so much I can do. That's why I've appointed Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, people to run the intelligence agency. I have my own police force, other people doing these things. You can't have, I am not a robot. I'm not. I can't do everything. So, with that being said, the Department of Peacekeeping and Security Intelligence, our version of Homeland Security. Oh, and speaking of another thing, we have the Department of Peacekeeping and Security Intelligence. We also have NOOS, which is National Office of Security Enforcement, which is our version of Homeland Security. Peacekeeping and Security Intelligence is more so along the lines of the NSA and the CIA. I said earlier that they're a combination of Homeland Security. They do have some Homeland Security attributes, but PSC is more so along the lines of the NSA and the CIA. NOOS, or National Office of Security Enforcement, is more so along the lines of Homeland Security. So our the Noose logo even resembles the Homeland Security logo, but with slight variations. So that way, we cover our asses, so we don't get sued. So again, I am addressing the CR, and I'm not just addressing the CR and the citizens of the CR, Communitarian Republic. I am addressing the micronational community as a whole. For those of you who do not feel it is important to join the fight against DSAP, I'm not going to get mad at you. I'm not. I'm not the type to pressure someone into doing something that they don't want to do. I'm just saying, join us. All I'm just doing is making a suggestion, encouraging it. But if you don't feel that it is important or on your to-do list or at the top of your agenda, that's fine. But be vigilant. Keep your eyes and ears open. Be vigilant. But don't wait till it's too late. Don't wait until you see get reports of Priuses within your borders being attacked, because then it would be too late. DSAP would have already moved in and infiltrated your nation. And then another thing you have to worry about is DSAP sympathizers. Those people who want to join DSAP. Those people who sympathize with DSAP. Those people who agree with what DSAP is doing. Use your intelligence agencies. Use your intelligence agents to tell them to keep their eyes and ears open. Tell your police officers, your security officers, your whatever you call them, your micronational watch, whatever you call them, your law enforcement, your justice system. Tell them to keep their eyes and ears open. Your military even. Tell them to keep their eyes and ears open. If they see or hear anything that sounds off or looks off, engage them. Better safe than sorry. Better now than later. I am President and Führer Alejandro Valentino of the Communitarian National Socialist Republic of the Definitive Community. This has been part 2 of my Communitarian State of the Nation address. May God bless the Communitarian Republic. Hail the Communitarian Republic. And may God bless all micronations. May God bless all micronations. And may all micronations prosper. Let's do something about DSAP. I have a Prius ban enacted. There are no Priuses within my borders, but DSAP is still something that needs to be taken care of. So let's do something about it. Hail the Communitarian Republic. Vive Trujillo. May God bless you all. May God bless and watch over all micronations and all micronationalists. May peace be with you.